Hey, and welcome to Performance Labs. For our very first explainer, we wanted to tackle a question that honestly affects every single one of us. How do we not just live longer, but actually live better? All right, let's dive in.
So here's a strange thing about modern life. We're living longer than ever before, which is, that's an incredible achievement, right? But here's the real question. Are those extra years good years? Are we just adding more years to our life, or are we adding more life to our years? Are those extra decades filled with energy and vitality, or are they just kind of marked by a slow decline in how we feel, both physically and mentally?
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we need to talk about two key ideas. First, you've got your lifespan. Super simple, right? It's just how many years you live. But then there's this other thing, health span. And that's the number of years you live in good health, full of energy, and, free from those chronic diseases that can really drag you down. It's really the difference between just being alive and feeling truly alive. It's all about the quality of your years, not just the quantity.
And this is where the reality of it kind of hits you. That gap between our lifespan and our health span, it's huge. Research from major organizations shows that for a lot of us, those extra years are actually spent in pretty poor health. In fact, some studies suggest the average person might spend up to a fifth of their entire life feeling unwell. Think about that. That's a massive chunk of our time here to just not feel our best.
And you know what? It's really no wonder we're struggling. It feels like our modern world is just working against us sometimes. Think about it. We are literally surrounded by ultra-processed foods that are engineered to make us overeat. Our phones have basically rewired our brains for constant distraction and, ironically, loneliness. And the internet is just flooded with so much health misinformation, it's hard to know what to believe. And that's exactly why we created Performance Labs. We wanted to be that calm, science-backed voice in a really, really noisy world. Our whole mission here is to help you separate the signal from all that noise so you can actually focus on what works.
Yeah, and this quote, it just nails the problem perfectly. The world of longevity is so noisy, right? It's just full of quick fixes and what a lot of doctors would call snake oil. Like Dr. Jordan Schlain says here, everyone's trying to sell you something. So our goal, really, is to help you build your own internal BS meter, one that's grounded in real, solid, evidence-based science.
Okay, so if we ignore all the hype, if we push aside all the quick fix hacks, what does the science actually say works? What does decades of research tell us is the real foundation for a long and healthy life?
And here's the most important takeaway. Health span isn't something that just happens to you. It's not about luck. It's not even just about your genetics. It's the result of a deliberate, lifelong process. It is something you actively build.
So, let's totally reframe this whole conversation. It's time to stop looking for shortcuts, to stop hacking, and to start building. I want you to think of yourself as the architect of your own health. You and you alone have the power to design and construct a life of real vitality.
So what does the blueprint look like? Well, it's built on 3 foundational pillars, and all of them are backed by decades and decades of solid research.
Now, the first 2 pillars are probably what you'd expect. Pillar 1 is what we call the movement engine. This is all about your physical capacity, your heart health. And Pillar 2 is your fuel and repair system. This covers everything from the food you eat to how well you sleep and recover. All right, let's start with that movement engine. One of the absolute best ways to measure its health is a metric called VO2 Max. Now, in simple terms, it's just a measure of how efficiently your body can use oxygen when you're exercising. You can almost think of it as a stand-in for your functional age. But here's the best part. You don't need to be an elite athlete. The research is clear that even a pretty modest improvement, something like 8 to 12%, can have a massive impact on everything from your blood sugar to your mood. Okay, on to fuel and repair. There's this crucial process here called autophagy, which literally means self-eating. It sounds weird, but it's basically your body's natural cleanup crew. It goes around breaking down old, damaged cells and recycling their parts to build new, healthy ones. I love this analogy. Think of it like cellular spring cleaning. And we can support this process in a couple of really powerful ways. First, getting quality sleep. That's when most of this repair work actually happens. And second, eating a diet that's low in ultra-processed foods. That way, you're just creating less cellular garbage that needs to be cleaned up in the first place. Makes sense, right? So, those 2 pillars, they're absolutely critical. But what if I told you that the longest-running study on human health and happiness ever conducted, we're talking an 85-year study from Harvard, found that the single most important factor for a long, happy life wasn't exercise and it wasn't nutrition, it was something else entirely.
So what was it? The third pillar? Human connection, the quality of our relationships.
The study's director, Dr. Robert Waldinger. He summed it up just perfectly. After tracking hundreds of people for nearly a century, the clearest message they got was this: good relationships keep us happier and healthier. Period. It wasn't about how much money they had, or how famous they were, or their IQ. It was the warmth of their relationships that predicted a good life.
And I really want to be clear here, this isn't just some feel-good fluffy stuff. This is biology. The Harvard researchers actually found that chronic loneliness acts like a poison in the body. It creates this low-grade inflammation and stress that can be just as damaging to our physical health as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Let me say that again, as damaging as smoking. So good relationships aren't just a nice to have, they are a biological necessity.
So there it is. You are the architect. And now you have the blueprint.
And here is maybe the most powerful message of all. It is never, ever too late to start. It doesn't matter if you're 25 or 65. The science is crystal clear on this. The choices you make today, right now, can have a huge impact at any stage of your life. You always have the power to start building a stronger foundation.
So let's recap the key takeaways. Number 1, build your movement engine through consistent activity. Number 2, optimize your fuel and repair systems with real whole foods and quality sleep. And number 3, and maybe the most important of all, nurture your human connections. Look, this is really just the beginning of the conversation. So our question for you is, which pillar do you want to start building first? Let us know down in the comments which topic you'd like us to do a deep dive on next. Honestly, your feedback is what's going to help us build this channel together.
And finally, hey, if you want to join us on this journey to stop hacking and start building a longer, healthier life, please subscribe to Performance Labs. Thanks so much for watching.